Tucker Carlson featured the anti-Semite Nick Fuentes in a softball interview last week. That ignited a media and social media firestorm centered on the divisions in the Trump movement about Israel. Trump's critics, including many former supporters like Carlson, claim that Trump is controlled by Israel despite massive evidence to the contrary. I'm Barbara Boyd, and I've seen my share of cyber ops directed at splitting up organizations in my 50 years in politics. One of the most used tools is the question, where are you going to be when your leader dies? What's the plan for succession? Today, I'm going to first outline President Trump's actual foreign policy with respect to Israel and more generally. Far from listening to the neocons and Christian Zionists of the old Republican Party, he is demolishing their structures, including the influence of their British masters. Then I'm going to discuss the reason for Tucker Carlson's current disorientation. But before we get started, if you like this video, please like and share it. It increases our reach. Let's start with Tulsi Gabbard's declaration that Trump has ended all regime change operations, which in most cases led to conflicts that never ended. Here she is discussing this at a forum in Bahrain.
The old Washington way of thinking is something we hope is in the rearview mirror and something that has held us back for too long. For decades, our foreign policy has been trapped in a counterproductive and endless cycle of regime change or nation building. The results: trillions spent, countless lives lost, and in many cases, a creation of greater security threats, the rise of Islamist terrorist groups like ISIS. President Trump was elected by the American people to put an end to this. And from day one, he has showed a very different way to conduct foreign policy, one that is pragmatic, that is deal-driven, with a very realistic approach focused on protecting American security and prosperity while engaging with the world on terms that actually make sense. During his first term, the president brokered the Abraham Accords, this historic pact between Israel, the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan that came from staying laser-like focused on shared interests: economic prosperity, counterterrorism, technological innovation.
During the first 100 days of Trump, the CIA's regime change outfit, the National Endowment for Democracy, was defunded and forced to go to court to get its funds unfrozen. USAID, also a key player in regime change, was shut down completely. For the first time since the end of World War II, Trump's official defense strategy, written by Deputy Director of Defense Eldridge Colby, does not name China or Russia as the main targets of the Pentagon. Instead, it focuses on the internal threat posed by the terrorists who crossed our border under Biden and the thriving business of the drug cartels in our nation's towns and cities. It is also focused on stopping the drug cartels in Latin America from transporting their deadly poison into the United States and, most importantly, shutting down their financiers. The America First defense policy prioritizes building a Golden Dome missile defense for the United States while modernizing U.S. nuclear forces. This throws millions of dollars already approved by Congress to fight Russia and China into limbo. They can now be reallocated to support the new strategy for the homeland. That's not to mention the fate of the war hawks in the Senate who have profited from the defense industrial complex's fixation on war with Russia and China. They probably will find themselves shortly without talking points, major campaign donors, and gilded invitations to dinner. Trump's successful meeting with Xi Jinping last week and his continuing effusiveness about its success show that he has nothing like the old policies in mind. Just look at this truth from yesterday. To put a fine point on it, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced that he had opened a military-to-military deconfliction strategy with China, a channel for back-channel negotiations. So is Trump controlled by Israel? Here's J.D. Vance discussing that absurdity.
First of all, when the President of the United States says America first, that means that he pursues the interests of Americans first. That is our entire foreign policy. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have alliances, that you're not going to work with other countries from time to time. And that is what the President believes, is that Israel, sometimes they have similar interests to the United States and we're going to work with them in that case. Sometimes they don't have similar interests to the United States. And this example, the most recent Gaza peace plan that all of us have been working on very hard for the past few weeks, the President of the United States could only get that peace deal done by actually being willing to apply leverage to the state of Israel. So when people say that Israel is somehow manipulating or controlling the President of the United States, they're not controlling this President of the United States, which is one of the reasons why we'd be able to have some of the success that we've had in the Middle East.
If the dynamic wasn't already clear, the Trump administration had to deny that they were babysitting Netanyahu last week as they visited Israel to protect phase one of the peace agreement. They also made it known that Trump had threatened to cut all funding to Israel if it doesn't get on board and keep on board with the peace plan now being implemented. Almost everyone now claiming that Trump is a tool of Netanyahu and Israel's donors have never familiarized themselves with the process that led to the Abraham Accords in his first term. Barak Ravid published a great book about it called Trump's Peace. Trump's strategy involved getting both the Israelis and the Arabs involved in a dialogue for peace centered on the region's economic development. Theatric moves, like moving the capital to Jerusalem in Israel, resulted in Trump becoming more popular in Israel than Netanyahu. That's the leverage he is applying on Israel now to make the current peace plan proceed. Now, if this helped you separate the wheat from the chaff in the coverage of Trump's foreign policy, please take a moment and become a subscriber to Meeting Action's newsletter. The link is in the description. So what's up with Tucker? Well, he let the cat out of the bag recently in a warning note for his subscribers. He titled it, Banish the Serpents. Here it is, and I quote, "When people think of MAGA, they think of the president. There will always be groups that remain for or against him based solely on his personality. But that's not what most of the country, and it certainly isn't young people who think that. The movement that ushered Trump back into the White House is about more than one man. It's about the ideas he represented and campaigned on 12 months ago. What are those ideas? Tucker lists no foreign wars, closed borders, protecting U.S. jobs, and free speech. Those are the ideas he thinks won the election. But he is dead wrong on two counts: the nature of MAGA and the ideas that won the election. It's not just Tucker who thinks this way. It's very common in Republican circles throughout the country who cling to past ideas. MAGA is not a list of policy points. It is Trump. Full stop. It's a movement led by a truly unique historical individual. Donald Trump came away from the Butler assassination attempt with a passion to save the republic and the understanding that his life and every day now is a gift of God. Based on the continuous legal and physical attacks on him by the oligarchy, the people see him as a hero fighting for the forgotten men and women of this country. That spiritual quality, which none of the legacy Republicans understand or have, is why Trump 2028 hats freak out the Democrats, the media, and the city of London. That's why Trump standing up in Butler and saying, fight, 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 is an iconic picture. That courage and passion is again what the old Republican Party can't manifest. In many ways, Trump's relationship to MAGA is like Martin Luther King's relationship to the Civil Rights Movement. In a memorial for King in Talladega, Alabama, Lyndon LaRouche discussed Dr. King's irreplaceable role. We had no replacement for Martin, lesson number one. Martin was a unique personality. He was not a talented person who happened to stumble into leadership and could be easily replaced by other leaders who would learn the job and take over afterward. He had no replacement, no one in position to replace him. Many wished to be, but they didn't have that quality. Martin was truly a man of God, truly, in a way that very few people are actually able to realize in their lifetime. It wasn't just that he was a man of God, it's that he rose to the fuller appreciation of what that meant. Obviously, the image for him was Christ and the passion and crucifixion of Jesus Christ. That was his source of strength. He lived that. He had gone to the mountaintop at a point that he knew his life was threatened by powerful forces in the United States. And he said, I will not shrink from this mission even if they kill me, just as Christ said. And I'm sure that was in Martin's mind at that point. The passion and crucifixion of Christ is the image which is the essence of Christianity. Tucker also completely misses the most important element of Trump's platform. That is the transformation of the economy to favor the forgotten men and women of this country rather than Wall Street. He campaigned for and is putting into place the highly skilled jobs of the future so that one worker per household can once again provide for a family. He has also given this nation a mission once again. Create a world which consistently provides a better future for each new generation. Create a world in which the creativity of human beings is nurtured and allowed to flourish. He knows that the new frontier discoveries which will power this economy will come from his emphasis on developing fusion power, advanced nuclear power, and exploration of the moon and Mars. He's only been at it for 10 months, but the milestones are already incredible. Just go to the White House website and read through the executive orders. More than anything, most Republicans don't understand American system economics and Trump's devotion to tariffs. British ideology about free markets and free trade fills their heads. Trump's tariff policies will face a big test on Wednesday when their legality is being argued before the Supreme Court. So here's where we land. MAGA isn't a checklist you can give any politician. When you hear stuff like MAGA is bigger than one man, recognize the play. That line is designed to unplug the movement from its engine and split the coalition before the midterms. It's the oldest psyop with a new coat of paint. It's the failure to understand Trump's approach to economics which Promethean action is focused on curing. We are building an America where one skilled income can support a family, where our borders are secure and our streets are safe, where industry, science, and faith in the future are not talking points, but daily reality. We need you, our audience, to engage on this. Go to the Promethean Action Toolkit on the website. The link will be in the description. There you'll find key materials to help you understand the difference between the American and British economic systems.